Michael Wright, who was from Kirkdale, Merseyside, was known to friends and family as Mikey. The 34-year-old had built a reputation as the boss of a security firm, but truth be told, he was a known gangster, hardman and also crime boss, and a cold K. He was known to be a hard puncher as well as being involved in gang feuds and dealing. And also loved football, playing for Stanley Park when he was younger. On the 8th of December 2006, the security firm boss' life would abruptly end after being struck with ammo in the head 3 times while he sat in his VW Golf after he and rival David Hibbs Turner had fallen out over women and gear and levels of disrespect. On the day of the calculated, callous and intended M, Mikey had gotten his VW Golf, travelled to the KFC restaurant at Crocksteff Stonewall Retail Park on East Lancs Road. It was alleged that David Turner's neighbour, Mark Richardson, and 19-year-old Paul Hollands had seen Mikey in the area in his distinct blue Golf. The two gangsters had watched Mikey and his passenger, Gary Wilson, order food before parking up. 25-year-old Mark Richardson called 28-year-old David Hibbs Turner, who is from the Sherwoods Lane, for Zachary, and asked him, "What do you want done?" David Turner knew that he had a small window of opportunity to commit the M, so he ordered the hit. He called 19-year-old Philip Woolley and told Phil to put an end to Mikey right now, with clear instructions given by David Hibbs Turner, who was said to have now been in a relationship with Mikey Wright's ex-girlfriend and the mother of his child, Jennifer Tasker. Phil had rushed to the scene in a black Skoda equipped with a GUN. Now, crazily, plainclothes officers were in an unmarked car at the time, and they were already on the scene. In fact, they had let the Skoda into the KFC parking area. Officers were still there when an unassuming Phil was able to walk across the car park and get right up and close and personal to the VW Golf and, of course, Mikey. He then aimed before pressing a trig. Mikey, who was a dad of 2, was struck 3 times in the head with ammo in front of witnesses at 37 minutes past 7 in the evening. It was alleged that David Hibbs Turner had listened to a series of thunderous pop sounds signalling Mikey's end of life on the phone. In the aftermath, Phil Woolley rushed to the waiting black Skoda, attempted to flee the scene while plainclothes officers rushed in the direction of where the loud bangs had came from. The Skoda then made contact with a parked car before the men disembarked and ran away. Emergency services were called to the scene. Mikey Wright was sadly pronounced dead at a few hours later, 35 minutes past 9. As for the Skoda, it was quickly found abandoned in a nearby Ranworth place. When police investigated the M, they found that the Skoda had been purchased by members of Philip Woolley's family days before the M. Now, ringleader David Hibbs Turner, who also controlled one of Merseyside's biggest drug operations, was quickly arrested. When questioned, he denied any knowledge of the M, but he, along with 19-year-old Philip Woolley, were both found guilty of the M. David Hibbs Turner put the hit out while Philip Woolley answered the call and acted as the triggerman. The prosecution says that both men were up to their necks in the killing. David Hibbs Turner was jailed for life with a minimum term of 37 years. When the verdict was read out, it was said that David was sitting there with his arms crossed and he showed absolutely zero emotion. Now, as for Phil Woolley, who has an IQ of just 68, he was described as suffering a significant mental impairment at the time of the M. Now, he was also jailed for life with a minimum term of 24 years. Before they were led away, the judge also called the 2 men callous and cowards. Stay safe.